And she would go upstairs while I'm downstairs in the same house.
We wasn't together.
Excuse my language.
You weren't together, but you were living together?
He has no place to go.
But you need me, though. But you want me to be the father, though, right?
I know.
Want me to be the father.
Defendant is
her sister.
Oh!
I caught my sister cheating on Mr. Sampson while he was incarcerated. I was taking my kids to school. When I returned home, she was in the bedroom with another man.
Is he in the delivery room with you?
I had the baby, and he held the baby. I have a picture of him holding the baby.
Sex once with
and then he said 5 minutes, then he said he was going to smoke a cigarette, and he never came back, Your Honor.
because I didn't feel a bond.
Hold on to your seats, folks. Mr. Kiesel lays it all on the line, stating that the paternity results today could make or break his marriage. He shares his turmoil after discovering the child his wife is expecting might not be his, emphasizing the deep emotional stakes and his fierce desire to keep his family together. What unfolds next will have you on the edge of your seat.
This is a case of Kiesel versus Kiesel.
You say your marriage depends on today's paternity results after your wife announced the child she is currently pregnant with may not be yours. You are here to prove you are the father and save your family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here's where it gets spicy. Mrs. Kiesel drops a bombshell in the courtroom by admitting that another man could be the father of her unborn child. Her confession adds layers of complexity to the case and highlights the emotional turmoil she's wrestling with, affecting her marriage deeply. Brace yourselves, because the courtroom drama intensifies from here.
You say it breaks your heart to stand in court to prove that your husband is not your unborn child's father, but you know the truth. Another man is.
Yes, Your Honor.
The plot thickens. The couple delves into how the infidelity revelation has rocked their marriage to its core, leading to relentless arguments and a heavy emotional toll. This segment paints a vivid picture of the deep personal and relationship turmoil sparked by the uncertainty of paternity. And guess what? It only gets more heated.
Our marriage has been put on the line. A month into our marriage, he had cheated on me. It led to where I might not be the father of this child. It was supposed to be a happy, great thing for us, and it's just problems and heartbreak and lots of issues for us.
What is your day-to-day family life like?
It's caused us a lot of issues. We argue nonstop about who the father is. A lot of causes us to be very distant from each other.
Get ready for an emotional roller coaster. Mrs. Kiesel describes the severe strain the paternity issue has put on both their marriage and her pregnancy. She talks about the cancellation of their baby shower due to the feud between potential fathers' families, illustrating the extensive impact of the situation. Hang tight. The next twist is just around the corner.
It has affected me in a huge way, not only just our marriage, pregnancy as well, because it's hard for me to necessarily, yes, I'm excited for it, but it makes it harder when there's so much stress put into the pregnancy, rather than being everybody together, having a good, for like a baby shower.
You're not going to believe this explanation. Mrs. Kiesel sheds light on the rushed nature of their relationship and marriage, confessing that she wasn't over her ex, which led to her infidelity. This revelation offers a glimpse into the personal conflicts that led to this courtroom drama. Emotional revelations keep coming, so stay tuned.
Really rushed into a relationship. We had been dating on and off, but it was back and forth with my ex. We both have broke up a couple of times over while we were dating. And then when we got married, it just was kind of like a let's go do this kind of thing. It was not necessarily young, but quick. So that, I think, has a big effect on it, is because I wasn't fully over my ex.
Grab some tissues for this one. Mr. Kiesel shares the crushing moment he learned the pregnancy he had celebrated might end with a child that isn't his. This poignant moment highlights his vulnerability and the stark shift from joy to despair in his life. Just when you think it can't get any more dramatic, it does.
Because you hope to conceive a child, you have to get the news that, oh no, but you cheated.
We had been trying for a while, and she was in the bathroom. She walked out, told me she was pregnant, and I asked why she was crying. And she told me that there's a possibility that I might not be the father. I broke down myself. Thing that was supposed to be great, we'd been trying. We finally got it. I might not even be the father of it.
Can you feel the tension? Mr. Kiesel clutches at straws, hoping physical similarities seen in ultrasound images, like the nose and lips, might prove his biological connection to the child. His desperate grasp for familial ties amidst uncertainty is touching yet fraught with anxiety. What comes next will surprise you.
We have a nose that looks a lot alike. Mine goes down and then bubbles at the end. With the ultrasounds that we had, the child had the same kind of nose.
It appears that you have a similar nose to the child.
We have fat upper lips. I see it in the ultrasound as well.
I want our marriage to work, and I want everything to be fine. And
get ready for some expert insights. Dr. Samantha Brown Parks steps in to discuss the hereditary nature of clubfoot, a a condition Mr. Kiesel hopes might link him to the child. This expert testimony introduces a scientific angle to the paternity puzzle, thickening the plot as we near the big reveal. The suspense is building, folks.
Whether or not Mr. Kiesel is this child's biological father. Having a physical condition that runs in his family, a clubfoot. Is this something that is hereditary?
So clubfoot happens in about 1 in 1,000 live births in the U.S. Fairly common birth defect. 1/4 of those have a family history of someone having a clubfoot also.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The courtroom holds its breath as the paternity results are finally disclosed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Kiesel, you are the father.
All right, grab your popcorn. This is where it gets good. Miss Wandick steps up with a mission to prove Mr. Stampley's paternity of her little one. She's not just here to clear the air. She's here to drop some serious family truth bombs. The plot thickens, and oh, it's about to get juicy.
For $79.40 for baby clothing, gave you and dumped it in a neighbor's driveway.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're also seeking the results of a paternity test to prove once and for all is the father of your...
Just when you think you've seen it all, Mr. Stampley teases the court with a mystery guest waiting outside, ready to flip the case on its head. This cliffhanger could change everything. Stay tuned because the next scene is a doozy.
Furthermore, you say you have good reason to doubt you are not her child's father. You claim to have brought a witness who is waiting outside of the courtroom who will turn the side down.
Here comes the drama train. Choo-choo. Miss Wandick recounts the saga of the airborne baby clothes, flung by Mr. Stampley in a spectacular display of baby shower fireworks. This isn't just a fight over onesies. It's daytime court TV gold. What happens next is even more bizarre. You'll see.
Brought over baby clothes to my sister's house, and we had got into an argument to the neighbor's house. And why would he do that when he bought the clothes for the baby? Not me, but for the baby. It was a gift, though, Your Honor. That's why I'm suing.
Hold the phone. It gets better. Mr. Stampley spills his guts about his financial gripes and paternity doubts, making a case that he might have been hoodwinked into throwing a baby shower. His story adds a dash of Maury to the mix, raising the stakes. Watch out for the next revelation. It's a head spinner.
You, Mr. Stampley, you're suing for $410 for a baby shower. For Ms. Wandick, thought she was carrying your child. So at this point, did you have doubts that the child was yours? You say she duped you. You don't look duped right there.
Well, Your Honor, I feel I was suckered and sweet talked into this baby shower.
You can't make this stuff up. The courtroom dives into the nitty-gritty of their rocky romance, complete with confessions of cheating. This segment delivers all the feels and a few oh no she didn't moments. Hang tight, because the roller coaster is heading to a wild twist.
You just said you pretty much asked her to have a child. You say that?
No, Your Honor.
So you had no interest in this relationship?
I didn't expect for it to. I just wanted to remain as.
No, we didn't, Your Honor. Not
and
one
so,
time.
When you found out you were pregnant...
I'm
I
pregnant.
went away for 30 days, Your Honor. I went to jail.
Bet you didn't see this coming. We explore how Mr. Stampley's stint behind bars stirred the pot in their love stew. The trust is crumbling, and the love boat is definitely rocking. The upcoming testimony, it's like reality TV on steroids.
Returning home from jail, I was over at a friend's house. She was acting real funny, so
Your
I just
Honor.
asked her, I said, man, did you cheat? So I started feeling some type of way. I'm like, did you cheat on me? I mean, what's going on? Yeah, I did cheat.
Oh.
So she admitted that she cheated.
I did, Your Honor. I admitted that I
did
cheated
admit.
on him. Like he said, we was at his friend's house.
Time for some truth tea. The secret witness finally makes an entrance, ready to spill the beans and possibly shatter Mr. Stampley's world. This testimony isn't just revealing, it's explosive. Brace yourself, because the DNA results are up next, and they're a real game changer.
And your relationship to the defendant is?
Yes, ma'am.
But you are the defendant's witness. What do you know about this?
I caught my sister cheating on Mr. Stampley while he was incarcerated. I was taking my kid home. When I returned home, she was in the bedroom with another man.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please. The DNA results light up the courtroom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Stampley, you are her father.
You won't believe this kickoff. The judge loudly announces the case of Fondoyan versus Roland. Ms. Fondoyan strides in, ready to prove that her 3-month-old son, Ezekiel, shares DNA with her boyfriend of over a decade. She argues his denial is wreaking havoc on their already rocky relationship. Buckle up, because the courtroom drama is just starting to heat up.
Ms. Fondoyan, you are here to prove to your on-again, off-again boyfriend of 12 years that your 3-month-old son, Ezekiel, is biological child. Say the paternity denial is drawing your relationship relationship, and you need today's results to repair the breakdown in your family.
Yes.
Here comes a curveball. Mr. Roland is throwing down the gauntlet, casting doubt on his fatherhood by pointing fingers at another potential dad due to Ms. Vendoyen's close timeline with another relation. With a family friend in tow, they're here to shake up the claims. Grab your popcorn. The next part is a doozy.
You say Ms. Vendoyen was in a sexual relationship with another man weeks before you learned of pregnancy, and you and your mother's best friend are here to prove her son Ezekiel is not biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
So
Things are heating up. Tempers flare as a fiery exchange breaks out over who the real daddy might be. The judge steps in to dial down the dramas, insisting on courtroom decorum. Ms. Vendoyen stands her ground, confident in her calendar and sure of the father's identity. Hang on.
He keeps denying my son, constantly denying him. Family is always putting a bug in his ear. It's not your child. He don't look like
That is
him.
not my child at all.
You're gonna see? I know who I slept with.
With me, he was with somebody else at the same time.
I
Like,
know who I lay in
talking
bed
about?
with, and I know the days I thank you very much.
gonna have to use court-appropriate language.
Oh, the plot thickens. Ms. Vendoyen spills the tea on finding Mr. Roland sporting a fresh set of hickeys after vanishing for 2 days. He counters, claiming their off-again status gave him the freedom to frolic. The story twists next, so stay tuned.
This man says he's going to the store. Going to the store. You know, you wouldn't think nothing of it. Your man going to the store. 2 days. Where you at? I go to his family house, and what do I see? Opens the door with a chain of hickeys all over his neck.
Mr. Roland, why did you have hickeys all on your neck?
Because we weren't together. I was able to do whatever I feel like, Your Honor.
No, we were together.
We were not together. She thought it. We were not together.
Twist and shout. After waiting fruitlessly for Mr. Roland, Ms. Vendoyen throws caution to the wind and picks up a new beau in Albany, stirring the pot as Roland admits to juggling not one, but 2 other women during their breaks. The love polygon unfolds further just ahead.
I patiently waited for him to come back. I waited a month and a half. He ain't come back. I said, you know what?
How? If you went to Albany and picked up a whole new...
Sure did. After a whole month and a half, you want to be
okay, you was already
walking around
dating
with
somebody
2
else.
females around your arms, making me look stupid in the streets. And I picked up a friend that actually did something you couldn't do.
Can anyone keep up? Despite the chaos of their on and off romance, 2 find themselves magnetically drawn back together, creating a whirlwind of custody claims and paternity puzzles. Their complex love saga dives into deeper waters next.
He kept coming back, Your Honor, like a tail.
No. You
He
kept calling
coming
me.
back,
Jeez.
and I just kept taking him in.
She's
You know,
crazy.
we already have one together. Why not? So I'm gonna sleep with you. Me and
You
this
was
boy,
sleeping at the same time with someone else.
First, yes, I went back and forth.
Yeah, so how are you going to try to pin this child on me?
Because
Personal. Like,
I know
come on,
what
that
days
is not
I
my
slept
child.
you,
That is
and I
not my
know what
child,
days I
Tanya.
Hold the phone. A buddy of Mr. Roland's throws a wrench in the works, accusing Ms. Vendoyen of dodgy date doctoring to pin the paternity on Roland. As suspicions swirl, the evidence tabled next could turn the tide.
I went to the doctor's office, gave me my due date, and it falls onto the days that we were messing around.
Saying you was still messing with him on the 7th, then you messing with me on the 8th, and found out you're
Yes.
pregnant. So, okay then. So there you go.
You can't make this stuff up. Ms. Vendoyen whips out a calendar loaded with liaisons, blurring the lines on when conception could have occurred. The court huddles over this pivotal plot point, dissecting dates like a CSI episode. What's revealed next will throw you for a loop.
So, Ms. Vendoyen, you submitted a calendar to the court, outlines the window of time you were having sex with Mr. Roland again. You say you started to have sex with him again on May. If we go to the next page, you also indicated you were having sex with other man where it's outlined in red. May go
Right
to the
there.
window
Show
of
right there on the-
conception.
This just in, living together but not together together. They unveil a living situation straight out of a sitcom, sharing a roof but not a bed, adding layers to their already tangled tale. The drama intensifies further in the coming clip.
And she will go upstairs while I'm downstairs in the same house.
We wasn't
Excuse
together.
my language.
You weren't together, but you were living together?
He has no place to go.
But you need me though. But you want me to be the father though, right? You
I know.
want me to
Let's
be
get
the
it
father.
straight.
Well, you better man up. You're not leaving this house and let the next man lay in your bed.
Moment of truth. Everyone's on the edge of their seats.
Has been determined by this court. Mr. Roland, you are the father.
The stage is set for some courtroom drama. Ms. Harris kicks things off by claiming that her roller coaster relationship of 15 years with Mr. Sterling has resulted in a little one, who Mr. Sterling is apparently not eager to claim. She's here to set the record straight and make him face his responsibilities. Strap in, folks, because this is just the warm-up.
Ms. Harris, you claim that your 15-year on and off relationship with Mr. Sterling has produced a baby that he is trying to get out of helping raise. To prove paternity, force him to step up. All right, Jan.
Sterling steps up, and boy, does he look shook. He lays out his side of the story, frustrated and fed up, denying the child is his. He's looking for a DNA test to cut ties and hopes to wipe his hands clean of the whole affair. You'll want to stick around because Ms. Harris is about to turn up the heat.
Mr. Sterling, you say plaintiff told you her son, Kason, was not yours, and you are tired of care of another man's baby. You've come to get the DNA you need to remove your name from the birth certificate. Finally, get Ms. Harris of your life.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things get real as we hear about the baby's first birthday. The courtroom gets a dose of reality with talks of first birthdays and more, pulling at the heartstrings of everyone listening. This is not just about the drama, it's personal. Just when you think it can't get more intense, the accusations start to fly.
So he'll be one. I had him on my birthday last year.
And so, Mr. Sterling, it's almost 1 year. No help, no support?
That's not my baby, and I'm going off of what Charity is telling me. True.
It is his baby.
She tells me when we get to arguing.
Because he get on my nerves and I don't want him to be in my life. Like he want to move on and move out his life. I do too sometimes. I hate I even met him.
And the gloves come. The accusations fly as both sides dive into a tit-for-tat about cheating and who's responsible for what. It paints a not-so-pretty picture of their tumultuous time together. Next up, watch as they try to untangle their messy timeline.
And he was cheating the whole time I was pregnant. Before
That is
he
a
cheated
negative.
the whole
That is a
time.
negative.
And
Even if he was cheating, that's bad enough, and we don't want known that in this courtroom. Question concerning paternity would surround whether or not we're sleeping with somebody else.
No.
Judge Lake dives into the nitty-gritty with a calendar. The judge tries to piece together the puzzle of their relationship timeline with the help of a calendar Mr. Sterling brought. Each date seems to thicken the plot. Hang tight, because Ms. Harris is about to drop some knowledge.
And you submitted calendar to the court.
ma'am.
First date on this calendar says the doctor's appointment was on March 21st. And the doctor says in Ms. Harris 6 to 8 weeks. And you had on Valentine's. If we count back 6 to 8 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks, 8 weeks, that is the last in January.
Confusion is the game, and they're playing in the big leagues. The court struggles through a fog of misunderstood medical terms and pregnancy dates. It's like a bad game of telephone with high stakes. Buckle up, as a bombshell revelation is just around the corner.
Grown women that stand in this courtroom that don't completely understand workings of their reproductive organs and systems. What is your doubt based on? Believe this baby is yours. And he's trying to say to me, these are my reasons. Number one, she told me I wasn't. Number two, I did the calculation. This is what I came up with. This evidence he submitted to the court.
Right.
Oh snap, plot twist. Just when you think you've seen it all, Mr. Sterling drops a bomb about another possible dad in the mix, and it's a heartbreaker. The plot thickens, and so does the tension. Watch as they navigate this emotional minefield up next.
When she was 8 months pregnant, she told me that it was another guy who could be the baby's father. It broke my heart.
First of all, that's a lie.
What
We
happened?
had an argument, brung that up. I don't know if she was mad or what. Planted doubt in my head.
lied.
She said, "Don't worry, you not my baby's father anyway. Like, go on, kick rocks, get on with your life or whatever." I'm like, what? We were just together. I was just, the baby's father and everything.
Tempers flare and the drama skyrockets. Their words cut deep as they air their dirty laundry for all to hear. It's a verbal tug of war with the child's future hanging in the balance. Don't go anywhere. Next part is a doozy.
Things happen. Either you're the dad or you're not.
She is a lie. That's the reason we here today.
Exactly, because you're a liar. You need to step up pretty much.
I don't want to another man's child.
You want yourself.
I love that
So
little
don't
boy.
sit here
You know,
and
you know that.
like you just
you
don't
know
want to
that.
take
That's
care
the
of
reason
another
you
man,
want me
baby.
to be.
You don't
for
take
me
care
not
of
to have
yourself
nothing,
or
for
the
me
child
not to
that
be
you already.
nothing.
Sit here and kick it like that, baby.
Ain't got nothing to do with this
I'm
situation.
just letting you know.
About
Kick it
Casey.
like you do now.
Here comes the kicker about the birth certificate. Mr. Sterling signed the birth certificate despite his doubts, a move that's loaded with implications about his feelings and doubts. The emotional roller coaster isn't over yet. The reactions are priceless.
Here is the birth certificate that he signed.
Let me
And I
see
wanna
that,
submit
Jerome.
this
Let me
to
see
you.
the birth certificate.
That's your brain.
No, that's your brain.
So this is evidence of Kason Sterling's birth certificate has signed as father. Why execute the birth certificate if you know you have doubt?
Like at the 8 months when we got into it, I thought it was just because she might have been, maybe she did just say this out of
you
the
know
side
you
of her.
cheated, you lied, and you wrong.
A quick chuckle breaks the tension. In the midst of the chaos, Mr. Sterling recalls the lighter moments of supporting Ms. Harris during her pregnancy. It's a brief laugh in the middle of a storm. Next, the stakes get even higher. Don't miss it.
Yeah.
He's trying to jump.
Baby, I look.
I'm not. No, don't worry,
Man.
Miss Harris. I'm not laughing.
Get away.
I rubbed them big old.
We're not laughing at you, Miss Harris. I'm laughing with you though because I was looking at some old pic when I was
Man, that's
8,
not
9 months
trying to-
pregnant. I mean,
Listen.
my feet were huge.
Oh, I was
Like it's
sexy
crazy.
pregnant. Sexy, and I own
So
it.
I know that's
Yeah.
right.
Judge Lake brings it all back to what matters most. She cuts through the noise, reminding everyone that at the heart of this circus is a child who needs stability. The grand finale is coming up, and it's going to be a jaw-dropper.
The answers relating Kason's paternity. That's why we're here. And the truth is, if it's determined he's biological father, whether he likes responsibility or he does not,
step
he
up.
will have. Because if he
Now.
does not have, take care of it, the court will ensure that he does.
No
So
problem.
now, let's get to Mr. Sterling. What is your hope?
I do, young. I done grown a bond with him. Like, he calls me daddy.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The DNA results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Sterling, you are the father.
Exactly.
Buckle up, folks! Miss Taylor steps up, asserting that Mr. Brown is indeed the father of her 3-month-old daughter, Melanie. She's also chasing him for a neat sum of $22.56 in childcare costs the baby's first few months. He's fired up and ready to prove her case. And boy, does she mean business. Let's see how Mr. Brown handles this fastball.
You're here today to prove to Mr. Brown that he is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Melanie Brown. Ms. Taylor, you're also suing Mr. Brown for $256 in childcare expenses for the past 3 months of your child's life.
Plot twist incoming. Mr. Brown swings back, suggesting that maybe Miss Taylor was already pregnant by another man when they first got together. He's not just throwing shade, he's practically causing an eclipse his claim that she's got baby fever. What's she going to throw back? Stay tuned, it's getting spicy.
Mr. Brown, you say Ms. Taylor is obsessed with children and has baby fever.
Yes.
And you believe she may have already been pregnant by another man the first night you had sex.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, the drama unfolds. During a heated confrontation, Miss Taylor quizzes Mr. Brown about what he's actually done for their baby since she was born. His answer, couple of packs of cheap diapers, that's all, folks. And guess what? Those diapers caused a rash that sent the baby to the hospital. Grab your popcorn, because this soap opera is just getting started.
He haven't did nothing for her. All he did was bought her 2 packs of cheap diapers, and I let my baby wear them. And 2 days later, she got a diaper rash, and I had to take my baby. And I called him to tell him that she got a diaper rash. He said, "So what I supposed to do? That ain't my baby."
So you bought some cheap diapers because you didn't think it was your baby?
Yes, I mean, it was better than nothing, I thought, because I didn't really know whether it was my baby or not, so.
You can't make this stuff up. We dive into their backstory. They met at a club during Miss Taylor's 18th birthday bash. Mr. Brown, the charming older man at 32, seemed like a catch at the time. But as we peel back the layers, it's clear this relationship started on shaky ground. What's next in this telenovela? You won't want to miss it.
I met him at the club. It was right after my 18th birthday, and I went to taking and dancing with my friends. And he came up to me and was like, "You're beautiful, and I like to get to know you." And back to his place.
Well, she was more asking me to my place.
No, I wasn't, Your Honor. He was coming on to me.
He came up to you in the club, and he was how old?
32.
Did he really just say that? In a tit-for-tat exchange, Miss Taylor accuses Mr. Brown of being all about babies on their first night together. He denies it, suggesting she might have been the one with a bun already in the oven. The accusations are flying faster than a reality TV reunion special. What will the judge make of all this? It's about to go down.
This is my first time meeting her. She talking about, "Oh, do you like babies?" or "How do you feel about?" I'm thinking that she was already pregnant.
And yet you still went ahead and had sex with her.
Yes.
That should have been a note to self. Or extended play booty call.
It was just a booty.
What was this?
This is a booty call.
32-year-old man with an 18-year-old girl.
And the plot thickens. Miss Taylor lays it out. Mr. Brown has been about as helpful as a chocolate teapot, only showing up sporadically and contributing next to nothing. She's calling him out big time in front of the judge. How will he wriggle out of this one? Keep watching. The judge's reaction is up next, and it's a doozy.
Your Honor, only reason I went back to his place because I feel more than what it came out to be, because I thought he would be more mature because he was interesting to older men. But he turned out just to be like the rest of them.
Father figure or father for her baby.
Because you
are the father of my baby.
Suspicion she was already.
Yes.
I was not, Your Honor.
The first time we used a condom. The second time we.
If I was already pregnant, how come my baby 3 months?
You'll want to lean in for this. As the debate heats up, they spar over Mr. Brown's lack of involvement and his dismissive reaction when he found out about the pregnancy. Miss Taylor is on a mission to prove him wrong, but Mr. Brown is as slippery as an eel. Courtroom is electric. What will happen when the judge steps in?
He said, "We only 3 times. I wore a condom today, my baby. You need to go
so
find your baby daddy."
So he immediately denied the baby.
Yes.
Because Mr. Brown,
okay, she needs to find her baby daddy.
You are my baby daddy.
I started doing some research on, and I found some colored pictures of her.
What is this, sir?
And she portrayed herself to be such a good girl.
And these are pictures of what?
Around the time she said she got pregnant.
So you found these pictures?
Right. I was trying to find the baby daddy for her.
Here comes a curveball. The judge digs into Mr. Brown's history, uncovering his minimal involvement during the pregnancy and questioning his sudden interest now. The air's thick with tension. You could cut it with a knife. What explosive evidence will come out next?
You go through your whole pregnancy by yourself?
He only came around like 3 times when he wanted to have sex.
Is he in the delivery room with you?
I had the baby and he held the baby. I have a picture of him
we
holding
only
the
had
baby.
Sex once.
And then he said 5 minutes. Then he said he was going to smoke a cigarette and he never came back, Your Honor.
because I didn't feel a bond.
See, this is a picture here of you.
It's getting hotter in here. A birth certificate and a photograph of Mr. Brown holding the baby are thrown into the mix. He looks about as comfortable as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. How will he explain this one away? The courtroom is on the edge of its seats as we roll into the grand finale.
And then you go outside, you tell her I'm going out smoking, you never come back.
Because my other baby, as soon as I held the baby, I felt a bond.
So you are a father?
Yes.
How many other children do you have?
5.
Did you put him on the birth certificate?
Yes.
You put his name down?
Yes.
You have a copy of that birth certificate?
I never put my name on there. I didn't know my name was even on there.
So this is a copy of Melanie's birth certificate.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was there.
Here's the showstopper. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are the father.
I told you.
The courtroom is buzzing right from the get-go as we dive into the drama. The case of Stovall versus Hines kicks off with high stakes. Mrs. Stovall is determined to prove Mr. Hines fathered her 4-month-old son Robert, hopes of reuniting and marrying. Mr. Hines, however, casts doubt on his paternity due to her alleged infidelity, claiming her actions don't line up with her words. The scene is set, and you won't believe what's coming next.
Ms. Stovall, you say nothing could mean more to you than today's results. You are desperate to Mr. Hines that he fathered your 4-month-old son Robert with the hope you can win him back and one day get married.
As the tension thickens, Mr. Hines lays out his heartbreak in no uncertain terms. He believes another man fathered the child and expresses willingness to reconcile if the DNA results are surprising, detailing his emotional turmoil. Despite once loving Ms. Stovall deeply, just when you think it's tense, Ms. Stovall's response adds another layer.
Mr. Hines, you claim you once loved Ms. Stovall, but believe her baby was fathered by another man and therefore can't be with her. You say your proof is overwhelming. The DNA results shock you. Consider getting back together.
Emotions are high as Ms. Stovall takes the floor, pouring her heart out. She discusses her undying love for Mr. Hines and her determination to prove paternity to mend their fractured relationship. Mr. Hines counters with doubts about the baby's paternity due to what he sees as serious inconsistencies in her action. Buckle up because their relationship backstory is about to unfold.
I really love Mr. Hines and just want to prove today that this is his son so that we can be together and hopefully get married one day.
But you have doubts, Mr. Hines.
Yes, I have doubts because although I do have a lot of love for Miss Stovall and I've given a lot to her and sacrificed a lot, there's just so much things that she has done that has created a lot of doubt and a lot of discrepancies of if this really is and truly my son.
Here comes a trip down memory lane with a twist. The court dives into the couple's past relationship dynamic. Mr. Hines recalls how their romance rekindled through a modern love story involving Instagram DMs, leading to a deeper connection. However, emerging doubts fueled by potential infidelity signaled trouble. The revelations keep piling up, and what's next is even more jaw-dropping.
I met Miss Stovall when I was 17. She was about 21. As time went by, I got older. I got more established in myself, and I seen her again on Insta, exchanged DMs and everything. As that relationship progressed, started getting deeper and deeper. But as we got deeper and deeper in, there started to be red flags for me. Might not be as faithful as she say she is.
What kind of red flags?
Exchange passwords. She went through my stuff, I went through her stuff.
As the plot thickens, trust issues take center stage. Mr. Hines describes a slew of questionable activities and Ms. Stovall's provocative actions, including sending Mr. Hines pictures with other men, which she claims were just friends. As the trust continues to crumble, get ready for a bombshell piece of evidence that changes everything.
If I was to elaborate, she has a lot of instances where she'll run off. I won't have track of her for hours on end. Times where her phone where it'll go straight to voicemail. She'll run off with friends. I'll see these messages. I'll see these interactions on Facebook, and it just keeps happening. It's not something that's just a one-time thing.
Ms. Stovall?
Your Honor, he's very jealous and very overprotective.
Hold on to your seats because the evidence just got real. Photos sent by Ms. Stovall during heated moments are displayed, adding fuel to the fire of jealousy and doubt about the child's paternity. These images stir up a storm in the courtroom, paving the way for an intense scrutiny of their timeline, a crucial piece of this puzzle.
Stovall, you sent him pictures of you with other men?
They were friends of mine. Never sexual between me and those friends.
Okay, so did anybody bring some pictures? Does anybody bring some evidence?
The first one is a picture of her when she got into it with her mother over there, making me question the paternity with this other guy, saying that we're good, we're straight.
And this attached to some type of mess where paternity was questioned?
Yes.
The plot takes a twist as Mr. Hines presents a detailed timeline surrounding the conception of their child. He correlates their relationship's tumultuous breaks and reconciliations with the pregnancy timeline, timeline, using a calendar to mark suspected conception times during their separation. Strap in, because a family member's testimony is about to throw a curveball into the mix.
This calendar.
Jerome, will you please hand up Mr. Hines' evidence? What is this, sir?
This right here is just inception and how the conception worked. Would it be okay if I walk up?
Yes, you may approach.
Something. Early June. She was living with me and my mother and my stepfather at the time because we all had her. She was living there. Came back from work. She said she went out with a friend and she hasn't been back since such and such time.
You won't see this coming. A surprise witness steps up. Ms. Stovall's mother takes the stand, offering her reluctant endorsement of Mr. Hines as the biological father, despite her reservations about the couple's volatile relationship. She hints at the possibility other biological fathers, given her daughter's questionable behavior. Just when you think you've heard it all, DNA results are about to drop.
Do you think Mr. Hines is your grandson's biological father?
Yes. I don't want him to be, but...
And you've heard the testimony thus far concerning pictures she sent, compromising photos, men talking to her on Facebook, that there could be another biological father. Okay, so
it's always a possibility. I wasn't there if she did that, so I can't say that.
So what you're saying is you can't
that.
say for certain.
Yes.
As the courtroom holds its breath, DNA results are finally revealed.
Mr. Hines, you are the father.
Oh.
All right, we're staying with Eric. All right, so I walk in there. What do I see? Lemon drops. Lemon drops laid out everywhere. I ain't talking about no candy.
There was 2 shot glasses laying on the table.
Check it out. She told me about the beer. So when you picked me up, why didn't you fair warn me?
You had a girlfriend.
She knew about it. We were friends. She trusts me. I'm not like that.
And you called me with his friend telling me that he was there 3 weeks and you guys were having sex and blah, blah, blah. At first I did believe that. But then I heard his story and none of it. Shut up, I am talking.
Nobody's picking up the phone. I'm walking all around.
So what about when you disappear for days at a time?
I don't disappear. I go to work.
Yes, you do. Every day when you leave out there, your phone not even on. Call while you at work. Then you would know where your son was at. You don't know. Find out at the end of the day.
I just told you where my son was at.
Buckle up for a wild ride. Mr. Buchanan kicks things off with a bombshell, revealing this isn't his first rodeo questioning paternity. He's up to bat again, doubting whether Miss Timberidge's 6-month-old daughter is really his. He's got trust issues galore after past false claims, and now suspects his girlfriend has been too cozy with others, including his former best bud. Stay tuned, the drama ramps up next.
Woman has claimed you are her child's father. First 2 times, DNA testing proved you were not, and you now doubt your girlfriend, Miss Stimbridge's 6-month-old daughter, is yours. She is engaged in sexual affairs outside of the relationship, including with your former friend and roommate.
Here comes the soap opera twist. During a seemingly normal day, a store trip turns into a showdown when Eric, Mr. Buchanan's best friend, drunkenly blurts out that he's been with Miss Timberidge. This shocking claim throws a grenade into the already fragile trust between Mr. Buchanan and his girlfriend, leading to accusations flying faster than a speeding bullet. Brace yourself. It spirals even more out of control up ahead.
One day, this is like...
And Eric is your...
supposed best friend.
Supposed best friend, so you get into a confrontation.
We took Eric up to the door. He was in the back seat already drunk. I mean, why are you getting him beer? You know what I'm saying?
He could have got it himself, Your Honor.
I mean,
got into an argument over the beer?
So you're best friends with him then, obviously, if you went in there. But anyways.
You can't make this stuff up. After getting out of the clink, Mr. Buchanan finds himself at the center of a boozy betrayal. Homecoming wasn't sweet with evidence of lemon drops, a drink apparently loaded with more significance than vitamin C. These lemon drops hint at naughty escapades between Miss Timberidge and Eric, making Mr. Buchanan's head spin with betrayal. What's next? Even more jaw-dropping revelations.
All right, so I walk in there. What do I see? Lemon drops. Lemon drops laid out everywhere. I ain't talking about no candy. Check it out. She told me about the beer. So when you picked me up, why didn't you fair warn me before I got home? Why are you gonna let me find out by myself? Because you forgot.
I didn't forget too much. It was still there, weren't it?
Grab your popcorn, folks. Miss McNeil steps into the courtroom with gossip that could fuel a reality TV show for seasons. She claims to have caught Miss Timberidge in quite the compromising position. This bombshell adds yet another layer of scandal to an already sizzling situation. What will the next turn reveal in this tangled web of drama?
Says that you witnessed firsthand some
did.
inappropriate behavior.
Yeah. That was not going on, Your Honor.
When I walked in, all I saw was booty in the air.
Things just got real. The plot thickens with a pregnancy test that's positive, sparking a mix of hope and horror in Mr. Buchanan. He's torn between love for the child and lingering doubts about whose genes are swimming in the little one's DNA. They head for a DNA test that could either tie them together or blow their fragile world apart. Next up, the moment of truth.
We take a pregnancy test because Jess talking about she late. I ain't bleed, I'm late. All right, so we took a pregnancy test. Not like positive isn't like good job. Positive isn't like there's something growing in there. That's why I'm denying that little girl, man.
It's the grand finale, folks. The results are in and the courtroom holds its breath.
Mr. Buchanan, you are.
Thank you.
That's a blessing.
Not enough lemon drops. Not enough.
Just when you thought it was a regular day in court, Mr. Hardy swings in with full confidence, declaring he's the real father of Taylor, following a jaw-dropping revelation that another dude totally wasn't. He lays out his unshakable belief and the emotional roller coaster it's been, especially after Taylor got wind from her stepmom that there might be a paternity mix-up. Strap in, the drama ramps up from here.
Mr. Hardy, you are here to prove what you have always known. You fathered the defendant's 26-year-old daughter, Taylor. You say your belief proven to be true after Taylor learned another man was not her biological dad in this courtroom.
Come to me and asked me if he was her dad because she said her mother told her that he was not.
How old were you then?
12, 13.
Just when the audience catches their breath, bam! The court drops the bomb that Mr. Jennings is not the father, sparking a wildfire of tension. Ms. Lynn throws shade, calling Mr. Hardy a master of manipulation. While he stands his ground, claiming his fatherly role, Ms. Lynn hints at another possible dad, stirring the pot even more. You'll want to stick around. The twists get twistier.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jennings, you are not the father. Mr. Hardy, you say Ms. Lynn is a master manipulator who has stopped you from being a daddy to your little girl. Claim the plaintiff is not Taylor's biological father, and you intend to prove that
there's a possibility between him and one other person.
In a twist that could make a soap opera blush, Mr. Hardy reminisces about the early days of doubt when Ms. Lynn first announced her pregnancy. Despite feeling sidelined by her family, he recounts his undying efforts to be in Taylor's life, showcasing his commitment against all odds. What unfolds next? More juicy details, of course.
The second time she told me she was pregnant, I doubted it because she had already said she was pregnant before.
So you were told she was pregnant before?
Yes, but she wasn't pregnant that time. So I had my doubts the second time she told me she was pregnant. Believe it until I seen for myself that she was pregnant.
Were you there?
Not
Nope.
at all.
Her parents did everything they could to keep us apart. From the time Taylor was about 9 years of age, I didn't get to see her.
Here's where it gets spicy. Amidst Thanksgiving turkey and pies, Taylor gets skeptical about who her real daddy is and decides to turn detective. She dives into a personal quest to uncover her biological roots, ending up sending a direct Facebook SOS to Mr. Hardy. The emotional ante is up, and the next chapter is a doozy.
So how did you find that he might be your biological father?
Maybe I was 23, right around there. I had asked my mom, my boyfriend had mentioned that I looked like it. She didn't want to talk about it, and she locked herself in her back room because Thanksgiving's not the time to talk about it, you know? And then so I was just like, well, I'm going to take it upon myself, get in touch with people that was her friends.
Reached out to him and you
Yes.
submitted a message to the court.
Yes.
The courtroom's heating up with explosive confessions and accusations flying faster than a reality TV reunion. Each party is at the edge, grappling with the heavy implications of who knew what about Taylor's real dad. Grab your popcorn. The emotional fireworks are just getting started.
At this point in time, I was led to believe that she knew I was her father and that she didn't want to
So
deal
when
with
you
me.
got the message, you were surprised that she was even in a search.
And you're a damn lie, because I have never once told you that I sat down and told her you were her father. Not once.
You disagree with that, Mr. Hardy?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I was kept away from her. Brandy would move place. There would be years at a time I wouldn't even know where to find her at.
As if the plot needed more thickening, enter Mr. Bryant, another contender for the title of Taylor's bio dad. His arrival throws another curveball into the already muddled paternity mystery, layering on the emotional complexity like a fine dip. The saga continues, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's next.
First day, you had sex with Mr. Jennings. Day 2, Mr. Hardy. Next day, day 3, your doctor had given you a 4-day window of conception.
Yep.
So there is another man who could very possibly be your daughter's biological father. How did you find out about him?
The last time I appeared here, then I asked her what his name was, and I looked him up on Facebook.
Because you don't believe Mr. Bryant.
Yes, I don't think I look like him.
You don't think you look like him. You know him?
I've met him twice.
Just when you think you figured it all out, Mr. Bryant steps up to the plate, swinging with claims that he might be Taylor's pops because, guess what? They kind of look alike. His heartfelt belief stirs up all the feels, spotlighting decades of emotional baggage.
Thank you for joining us today. We are here discussing the paternity thing. This beautiful young woman, Taylor. We've been told that you are a potential biological father. Do you believe you are her biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell the court why.
Because she's got so much resemblance of my daughter. I've been believing it for 26 years. It's time to get it over with, you know.
So for 26 years, you've had this in your heart.
Yes, ma'am.
It's just waiting to be unpacked. The DNA reveal is on the horizon, and it's going to be a blockbuster moment.
It has been determined by this court. Taylor's biological father is Mr. Bryant.
Yes! Yes, I told you.
Fasten your seatbelts. You're not going to believe this. Mr. Webb asserts that he has never been intimate with Ms. Cole, which provokes a strong reaction from the audience. Ms. Cole and her supporters immediately dispute his claim, calling him a liar. The judge expresses surprise, highlighting how unusual it is to hear such a defense. Buckle up, because this roller coaster is just getting started.
I never had sex with her, Your Honor.
Well, that would rule you out. You've never had sex with her?
No.
Yeah, he did.
She's a liar. She's crazy.
We've heard a lot of defenses in this courtroom. Rarely have we ever heard that you've never had sex with her.
She's absolutely crazy.
This next bit is a real doozy. Ms. Cole details a specific instance, claiming that on April 11th, Mr. Webb stayed in her bed and they had intimate violence relations, which she believes led to the conception of her daughter. Mr. Webb continues to deny these claims, asserting that their relationship was purely platonic and that he never slept in her bed. A heated argument ensues, with both parties contradicting each other's stories. Hang on tight, the saga continues.
And I know he stayed with me for 2 months, and he slept in my bed with me for one night, and we had sex. April 11th.
That's when you believe you conceived your daughter?
Yeah.
What's the nature of your relationship?
We never had sex or anything. We were just friends. We would chill out. That was it.
You were never intimate with her in any way?
I never stayed in her bedroom. I stayed out on the couch.
That's a lie.
And on top of that, I was only there for a week and a half.
Strap in for more chaos. Ms. Cole and Mr. Webb argue about the nature of his stay at her place, with Ms. Cole asserting that he lived with her for a month and a half, while Mr. Webb insists it was only for a week. The judge attempts to restore order as the argument escalates. Tensions rise as accusations fly back and forth about the nature and duration of Mr. Webb's stay. Just when you think it can't get any wilder, it does.
I wasn't living there. We were hanging out for a week and a half. And on top of that, April 8th, I had moved back to Detroit. How was I there for 3 months?
But why were you staying there with them for a week? You had a girlfriend.
She had knew about it. We were friends. She trusts me. I'm not like that.
And you called me with his friend telling me that he was there 3 weeks and you guys were having sex and blah, blah, blah. At first I did believe that. But then I heard his story and none of it. Shut up, I am talking.
Fasten your seatbelts. Here's a curveball. Mr. Webb presents a series of messages to the judge that he claims will prove his non-involvement with Ms. Cole. He describes the initial contact and the subsequent messages that escalated to accusations of paternity. The conversation in the messages revolves around the pregnancy and Ms. Cole's claims of Mr. Webb being the father. The next part is a real jaw-dropper.
How this went, the first message, she messaged me saying, hey, I got an ultrasound. I said, okay, can we leave it at Tasha? It's not my baby. I'm trying to do right in my life, and this is not doing either of us any good. So just at this point, I'm thinking, I feel like she's trying to say that I'm the baby daddy, but just hinting, not actually saying. What came next? I told her, I said, I'm not trying to be mean. I just want this to end. Because I'm not a mean person. I'm not a hateful person.
Next up, another whopper. Ms. Cole acknowledges there was another potential father involved around the time of conception. She explains the situation to the judge, including how the due date changes influenced her certainty about the paternity. The judge reviews a calendar submitted by Ms. Cole that outlines the timeline of her interactions with Mr. Webb and the other man. Wait until you hear what comes next.
As soon as I took the pregnancy test, immediately texted him and called the other guy, and I took both of them.
Lie.
For certain that the other guy was the dad until my due date got changed. It went from February 22nd to January 28th.
That is the date you were intimate with Mr. Webb, on the 11th of April.
Yeah, my conception was...
The window of conception is in blue, so that's the week prior to the 11th.
This will crack you up. In a dramatic revelation, Ms. Cole makes a crass remark about Mr. Webb's anatomy to assert her familiarity with him, which is met with mixed reactions from the audience. Her claim is meant to prove intimacy, but it only adds tension and ridicule to the proceedings. The judge struggles to maintain decorum as the court reacts to the inappropriate comment. Get ready for the climax. It's a hoot.
She was dark up until she was
born.
She lightened up.
Can't even.
And this picture is to show what exactly?
That baby don't look nothing like.
So you're saying there's absolutely no resemblance?
Absolutely.
That baby's just straight white.
I ain't white, I'm brown.
Yes, he is. He's Puerto Rican and Indian. Yeah, he's brown.
You see my skin color? Are you blind?
You've seen his body, so you know he is
Somebody get this girl
brown.
some glasses.
We know that children come in all colors. Moving on. Mr. Webb, you are not father.
Yeah.
Strap in, because this one's a doozy. Mr. Pitchford Kendricks kicks off the proceedings with a bombshell, asserting that he is indeed the biological father of the defendant's 2-month-old son, Javier. He suspects that the paternity denial is simply because the mother wants to be with another man, hoping to convince him to take up the father role. This moment lays the groundwork for what promises to be a roller coaster of emotions and accusations. And trust me, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Opened your case to prove are the biological father of the 2-month-old son. You claim she is denying paternity only because because she wants to be with another man and needs to be the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you think you've heard it all, Ms. Saavedra throws a curveball by admitting to a menage a trois that included Mr. Pitchford Kendricks, but remains steadfast in her belief he is not Javier's dad. Her firm denial amidst such a tangled web of bedtime stories highlights the complicated personal entanglements at play. Buckle up, because the emotional whirlwind is just picking up speed.
Ms. Saavedra, you admit you allowed 2 men into your bed at the same time, but you are convinced that Mr. Pitchford Kendrick is not Javier's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You'll want to grab some tissues for this one. An emotional Mr. Pitchford Kendricks shares his poignant backstory of growing up without a father in Detroit, driven by a resolve to ensure his son doesn't endure the same fate. His heartfelt testimony not only tugs at the heartstrings, but also sets high personal stakes in his quest for paternity truth. And just when you think it can't get more heartfelt, the courtroom is about to turn up the heat.
Well, Your Honor, I grew up in the streets of Detroit, no dad in my life, and I just want to make sure my son doesn't have to grow up.
That's a beautiful basket there. You brought that for your son. You say you grew up without your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me what that was like growing up with your dad.
It was kind of stressful being in school and seeing my classmates and stuff, having their parents come up there, both of them.
Twists and turns are the flavors of the day. The plot thickens as we learn that Ms. Saavedra and the man she believes is Javier's real dad decided to spice up their rocky relationship by inviting Mr. Pitchford Kendricks into the mix. The revelation of their adventurous bedroom escapades adds layers of complexity to the paternity puzzle, proving that this is no ordinary paternity case. Hold on, because the next revelation is a real kicker.
Me and the man that I believe is Javier's father, Maurice, was getting rocky. Decided to include Greg, our mix, and try and spice things up.
So how often was that happen?
It happened
off and on for like 10 years.
What?
You might need a flowchart for this one. Mr. Pitchford Kendricks delves deep into the backstory, explaining how he originally connected Ms. Saavedra with his cousin, which spiraled into a decade of on and off romantic entanglements and threesomes. This tangled tale of relationships gone wild complicates the paternity question even further, painting a picture of a very complicated love web. And believe it or not, it's about to get even wilder.
Well, a half cousin of mine.
A half cousin?
Yeah, he my cousin's cousin.
You were dating a woman, you ended up sleeping with her roommate. You developed a friendship with that roommate, and then she asked you to introduce her to somebody, so you introduced her to your cousin. Her and your cousin invited you into their bed threesome when their relationship needed spicing up.
Here's where it gets spicy. In a critical twist, Mrs. Saavedra pinpoints the night she believes Javier was conceived, linking it to an unprotected liaison during a tumultuous time in her primary relationship. This key moment is crucial for untangling the convoluted timeline of events and may just be the clue to solving the paternity mystery. Fasten your seatbelts, because the courtroom drama is about to explode.
I think Javier was conceived because that's when the unprotected happened. Like the times we had threesomes, I was trying to reach him, you know what I'm saying? So, and wear a condom, but I kind of liked it her from the first time I had seen her and stuff, so.
So what are you saying? So when you had the threesomes with your cousin and her, you would wear a condom?
Yeah, for respect for him.
Because that's respect.
The plot thickens, and so does the tension. Ms. Saavedra reaches out to Maurice, her primary partner, upon discovering her pregnancy, setting off a chain of confrontations and accusations about who the real father could be. This segment is a roller coaster of emotions, highlighting the strain and turmoil that paternity uncertainty can wreak on personal relationships. And just when you think it can't get more intense, the next chapter adds even more fuel to the fire.
I contacted Maurice, told him I was pregnant.
Contact the guy that really was your boyfriend. So when you told him you were pregnant, did he say, it's not my baby, it's Mr. Kendricks?
He didn't say anything to the degree at the time. We talked about it later on.
Afterwards, he called me trying to act like, these your babies over here, dog. I'm telling you when I see you on, man. You got me over here taking care of your babies. Cause between both of the babies, like before her first baby was born, that's when the threesome started.
Grab your popcorn, folks. The judge steps in with a conception calculator, attempting to scientifically determine the likely window of Javier's conception amidst the chaos of conflicting testimonies and convoluted personal narratives. This attempt to inject some scientific rationality into the proceedings underscores the court's effort to cut through the emotional fog with some hard facts, and you won't believe what comes next.
Conception calculator, because you all just over the place. So Javier's birthday is January 9th, 2019. Conception window is between 12th and April 18th.
That's not when he was due. He was born early. He was due January 26th.
We was having threesomes.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pitchford Kendrick, you are not the father.
Can you believe what we're seeing here? Miss Brooks is clearly upset as Mr. Page denies paternity of their son, Ivian, after planning to have this child together. She vividly describes how Mr. Page, a younger man, swept her off her feet following her previous long-term relationship. However, he is now questioning the child's paternity, accusing Miss Brooks of an affair with another man, Tony Wilson. Grab your popcorn, because this is just the start of the drama.
Ms. Brooks, you state after getting out of a 9-year relationship, you fell in love with Mr. Page, a younger man who you say swept you off your feet. You claim both you and Mr. Page plan to have a child together, but since giving birth to your son, Ivian, Mr. Page is now denying the child you so desperately wanted to have.
Yes, Your Honor.
What's he thinking? Mr. Page is adamant that he isn't Ivian's father, blaming Miss Brooks' frequent outings with Mr. Wilson. His frustration is palpable as he details his work schedule and his growing suspicions about her loyalty due to her evasive behavior and social escapades. The pot is about to boil over, so stick around.
Mr. Page, you state you know the child isn't yours. Ms. Brooks was having an ongoing of another man by the name of Wilson.
Yes.
You say Mr. Wilson, who is also here today to be the father of her son and has even posted pic on social media, fact.
Yes, Your Honor.
This just keeps getting thicker. Alongside the paternity mess, Miss Brooks and Mr. Page dive into other boiling issues in their relationship. Mr. Page throws in complaints about Miss Brooks' handling of money, painting a picture of financial chaos and mismatched expectations that have been straining their life together. We'll want to see what happens next. Things are getting spicy.
It stimulates from the paternity issues because at first, when we first got together, it was lovely. When I first was pregnant, he did everything. He was there. He was good, like during the pregnancy, and then everything changed. I think it has a lot to do with
No, everything ain't changed, John. What changed is her coming home at night with her and my son being around Mr. Wilson, her friend.
Did that really just happen? As Mr. Page airs his doubts, he points to the supposed timeline of his relationship with Miss Brooks, suspecting infidelity during the conception period. He brings up a social media post by Mr. Wilson that suggests a much closer relationship with both Ivian and Miss Brooks, intensifying his doubts. The next revelation is a doozy. Don't miss it.
So you feel like she was cheating on you sometime during the window of conception.
Yes,
Tell
Your
me
Honor.
about that doubt.
She knew Black longer than she knew me, so they've been messing around or whatever they've been doing. I know Black's Facebook page is dedicated just to her and my son, and I have evidence right here saying that.
That is just my friend. We take
Tell me if that looks like a relationship or a friendship.
Buckle up, this ride is getting wilder. The courtroom scrutinizes photos and social media updates that show Mr. Wilson with Ivian, implying he's more than just a friend. Mr. Page sees these as confirmation of his suspicion about the nature of the relationship between Miss Brooks and Mr. Wilson. Wait till you see what comes out of the woodwork next.
These are all photos of you,
all dedicated to
Mr. Wilson. That's the baby in there?
That's just a picture of me and them.
It's one of his file pictures.
Yes, I'm the best thing that's...
I mean, look at that.
And then that's Mr. Wilson, Ivian.
He is really upset because...
How's he been there?
Because you're not.
With him. Milk, I buy what I got.
When you're not there, he is there. Mr. Page does things, but he does the bare minimum.
You thought it couldn't get more heated? During a fiery exchange, Miss Brooks and Mr. Page go head-to-head over her interactions with Mr. Wilson. He accuses her of neglect, while she argues that Mr. Wilson has been a pillar of support. Things are about to get even more heated. Keep watching, because the gloves are coming off.
Mr. Wilson walks around my son. He does not let it be known that he's not the father. He does not let it be known that he's the father.
But how is that my fault?
He's his. You're right with him. What do you
How is that my fault? No, and you don't feel about that. And I'm talking to you. Your Honor, right now.
And he's walking around telling them they're having sex.
Who's he telling this to?
Mr. Wilson does go around saying that he had sex with me. I did not know that. I recently found out.
I heard it from her.
Of course, because
and they're
I'm
still
upset about
best friends.
this. Because
just when you think you've seen it all, Mr. Wilson steps up, testifying about his godfather-like relationship with Ivian and insisting he hasn't crossed any lines despite Mr. Page's accusations. His testimony could change everything. Keep your eyes peeled, because this is a pivotal moment.
Please describe for the court your relationship with Miss Brooks.
Oh, we're still best friends. One of the fellas. That's my homie, except for she's female.
What is your relationship like with her son?
I'll be honest, that's my godson. I love him. On my lunch breaks, stop past Sam. I spend time with him, take him to the park. How would that be allowed? You never there. You too busy playing the game, chilling with your homeboys and friends.
You won't believe this twist. The spotlight turns to Mr. Page's frequent absences and his alleged lack of involvement with Ivian. Miss Brooks accuses him of minimal participation, which he defends by citing his job demands and limited time. Climax is coming up, and it promises to shake things up significantly.
Every time I go to work, my son go over his house. One night I was calling him from my job, but once I get off, I can't get a hold of him. When I get to the house, my son is not there, she's not there, nobody's picking up the phone, I'm walking all around.
So what about when you disappear for days at a time?
I don't disappear, I go to work.
Yes, you do. Every day when you leave out there, your phone not even on. Call while you at work. Then you would know where your son was at. You don't know. Find out at the end of the day.
I just told you where my son was at.
Here comes the moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. You are not not the father.
Told you. Told you.
Hold on to your seats. Mr. Kennedy makes a theatrical entrance claiming he's dragged into court despite being a good guy, just to prove he's not the father of Ms. Pope's 3-month-old son, Christian. He's adamant about his innocence in this baby drama. Ms. Pope and her mother are visibly frustrated, insisting Mr. Kennedy owns up since he played a part in the baby-making process. Mr. Kennedy throws a curveball, suggesting Ms. Pope might just be looking for a scapegoat for her baby daddy woes. And just when you think it's all simmering down, the pot's about to boil over in the next segment.
Mr. Kennedy, you claim to be a nice guy who was to make the tough decision to drag the defendant to court, prove you did not father her 3-month-old son, Christian.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Pope, you and your mother are that Mr. Kennedy denies paternity and refused to acknowledge your child. You say he laid down with you and now he has up and paid.
Yes, Your Honor.
You won't believe this. The plot thickens as they unpack the friends with benefits setup that never had any strings attached, or so Mr. Kennedy claims. Ms. Pope airs out some dirty laundry, revealing Mr. Kennedy wasn't the Prince Charming he initially seemed to be. Fast forward, where he accuses her of not being over her ex, tossing another spicy meatball into the mix. Buckle up, because the revelations just keep rolling out.
No, we never did. It never had a chance to take off. We did get along in the beginning. He was a jerk, and I no longer wanted to be around that.
Why were you sleeping with him if he was a jerk?
He came off as an all-American guy in the beginning. We had a lot of things in common. We had the same football team.
That's enough to sleep with somebody, birthday and a football team. The bottom line is you all got along in the beginning.
The stakes are getting higher. Mr. Kennedy confesses he started ghosting Ms. Pope right when she needed him most, post-pregnancy announcement. He's backpedaling, recalling the murky details of the pregnancy news peppered with mentions of other potential daddies. Grab your popcorn, because the drama unfolds even more in the next chapter.
I found out that I was pregnant at 6 weeks, a cutie one morning, and threw it up at work. I put the 2 and 2 together. It wasn't rocket science, and I knew that I was pregnant.
And Mr. Kennedy, do you remember when she told you she was pregnant?
Told me around May or June or July. At that point, she had said there were 2 other gentlemen, and I had asked her, could it potentially be mine? And she said, no, you're in the clear. So
things take a turn for the digital, where a Facebook message becomes Exhibit A. Ms. Pope had pinged Mr. Kennedy with a baby pic, which sparks a whole new level of paternity paranoia. As the judge scrolls through the messages, the courtroom feels more like a soap opera set. Don't touch that dial. The next moments are guaranteed to amp up the drama.
She tell you were the father?
Through Facebook, I got messages.
It is your testimony that she did not tell you, she didn't tell you anything about the pregnancy, anything. You didn't hear from her until the baby was born.
Yes,
I had messaged him the night that I went into
some
labor.
message. I've been trying to get a hold of you. I want to call you and talk. Reply about. She replies, would you like to guess?
Cue the violins as Mr. Kennedy reflects on his personal visit to see the baby, searching for any sign of a family resemblance. He pledges his commitment to fatherhood, assuming the DNA stars align. Ms. Pope calls him out for his lackluster dad vibes, to which he retorts with tales of mixed signals. The emotional roller coaster is just getting started, so stay tuned for the climactic close.
6-hour trip out of my day to go up and actually see the child with my own eyes, just to make sure she was being truthful. I didn't get anything until after the child was born. For a while, trying to gather, anything, any kind of quirks that might relate him to myself or my other, find any similarities between him and I, and that was basically it. Went up mainly just to see the baby for my own eyes, just to make sure that this wasn't a ruse of some sort.
As they lay out their final arguments, both sides are throwing everything but the kitchen sink into the ring. Mr. Kennedy is all in for a paternity test, while Ms. Pope paints a picture of a roller coaster relationship ride. The judge sums up the saga, setting us up for a DNA result that promises to be a game changer. The suspense is real, folks.
And Ms. Pope, as much as I understand if he is not biological father, do you know where the other 2 gentlemen are?
Yes, Your Honor.
And would they want to be a part of Christian's life? Would they put themselves available to testing so that we can get this confirmed once and for all for this beautiful baby? It has been determined by this court. Mr. Kennedy, you are the father.